All right, good morning. Good morning. Mm, really? They all live closer? Well, let's see. Is there anyone on the stream? Let's see. 0 viewers. Okay. You're the furthest one? You're the furthest one? Yeah, it is. Good morning, De La Soul. Wow, that's a cool name. So they all live nearby? So they all live nearby? Hmm. Oh, yeah. De La Soul. What's up, man? Oh, no worries, man. I said, what's up? How are you, man? Mr. De La Soul. That's a cool name. Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
I had a recent one. I felt bad because they just waited up for me. And then I came out like, oh, thanks for waiting, guys, because it was she was a printer.
Mm-hmm.
She had she was making it down. So,
Oh.
wow, okay.
Yeah, like. Oh. Uh. Yeah, probably after that, that's a long time. All right, well, this thing looks like an opening dip. It's expected we have a large gap. Oh, yesterday? Or this little low from pre-market here, it's about to get tagged. See if it holds. I like to see it tag and then reclaim back above that 307 area. Let's see the classifier here so far. We'll give it some more time before we do it. Got the gamma level, so let's do that first. Should be done. Yeah, call wall. Is that right? Yeah, so there's still short delta. 348. They're the same pool. Yes. Hmm. Very tight call and put wall there. Very weird. Not the best, screen there, but we'll see. Probe the low yet? Yeah, we did. Now we did. Just barely. See if they reclaim above. I'm just gonna wait it out for a little while. This is a nice gap, but ideally you want to see them hold the power value low, which is we're kind of above right here in the 80s. Need to reclaim that and view up, but not bears will continue. I'll resume the push. We'll see where they put their foot down on the bull side. Ideally, I don't really like longs unless there's a strong reaction at 280s, which is we're approaching right now. It's still currently weak. The weekly value low from the full session. Yeah, failed. Yeah, I look for failed breakdown or failed breakouts. Essentially, mainly failed breakdowns, but failed breakouts is also a scenario. So you can see on the chart that I have them annotated there. The failed breakout here from yesterday, and then the failed breakdown setup. I took this one yesterday, late day. This setup right here was a failed breakdown at the 305. It bounced, but it didn't really get the full steam. We're now reclaimed above and failed again. So ideally, the next failed breakdown setup is going to be right here at 280. We have the breakout scenario here. So something like test the 280 and then reclaim that CVAL, the 285, 288. So that would be a failed breakdown of this little swing high here. Let's see my drawing too. So ideally, test here, this little area, test. Boom, and then reclaim, and then back test to 305 again. We're kind of approaching that area right now. Yeah, pretty much failed breakdown. Essentially what it looks like is you have a strong swing or reactionary level. That's your initial interesting zone, the zone of interest, and then you look for the second probe below that reclaims the reaction right there, right at the value low, little bounce. I want to see a test a little lower, like 280s. Tested a little low there. No reaction, still at the value low. It's trying to react out of here, but not strong movement. They're capping it. 7, 2. Where's the 70 at? I'd see that reaction there off the value low. They're trying to bounce here. Carve out a low. So the main scenario here would be let's see, we get a 72.80 failed breakdown. So we would open Tesla around 72.60 to 72, 272, 265, and then reclaim the 280s. This is what the setup I'm waiting for, essentially. We'll see if that plays out. We gotta go a little lower for it. Oh, they're getting a reaction, probably some news. They're holding VWAP on that move. Just wait it out. Looks like it wants to go full steam ahead. Yeah, they held it. Ripped. Came in a little, kind of where I wanted it, but it didn't go as low as I needed. I would like it to have gone right here. Hey, good morning, man. Welcome back, dude. There's a ton of ton of blocks lined up now to sell at the overnight high. There's 70. Okay. If they come back into VWAP, I'd like to see an entry there against the IBL, but we'll see. They're above 300s. It's a massive level. Needs to hold above it. This general area. As long as it holds above that, it's reclaimed pretty good, especially if I'm doing it at the open. Below 45, I agree. I agree. I wrote that in the newsletter too. That as long as it's below 45s, but thing is, like, the closer you are to 45, the better. Shorting here in 305s, I think favors bulls more so than it does bears. The closer you are to 45, definitely. There's a squeeze again. Man, that's crazy. No key level tested yet. What do you mean by that? I mean, I think the key level they tested was the value low at 285. The key level. And then the that's pretty much the only key level I'd say they tested in the morning. The value low for the week. They defended the area when they probed into it. There, value low. They're putting a little bit of a pushback here at 30s. Same area yesterday. This little area was a brick wall yesterday. Kind of where the sellers will kind of see if they can push. We're right underneath the overnight high. Given the level of squeeze we had off the 307, I wouldn't be surprised if they just ran past all that overnight high supply and just tested 48s. Yeah, wow. NQ and YM already broke the overnight high, so the S&P is lagging behind. It's probably going to do that because NQ blasted right through it, so did the Dow. Blasted right through the overnight high. Alright, see if they can come back to 300s. Anywhere in this vicinity would be fine. Anywhere around there. 307 to 300. They're trying to defend the Valor high. Yeah, they're defending the Valor high for the current session. It came into 15, 16, and they just bouncing it again up 7. See if they come back to Valor high again and test. I'll try it small there and then leave room to add into the 300s if they do. But yeah, it looks like they're defending the Valor high for the current session. Yeah, they held it pretty well, up to 10 points from the Valor high. They're still aggressively rebidding. Ideally, I want to see it come back in. I mean, I was hoping they would tuck back into value, but they didn't. They just tested the Valor high of 316, 317, and then ripped it. I was looking for a test back into the open or so.
They don't have to eat.
But here's it.
I think it's good. Bye. I love you too. I love it. 30, 26 minutes till IB is set. No? Bye. Fabulous. They're back at the value high. It shifted a little higher given the volumes exchanged. But again, I'm still waiting for that same zone. We'll see if we get that area, the tag, this little box I drew for a long continuation. The YM and the NQ both broke the overnight high. The S&P is the only one that has not. So on any longs into the 300s, that's going to be the primary target, the overnight high. We have about 24 minutes until the IB sets. So right now, I would classify this, and maybe if anyone's listening and or here, if you guys want to kind of determine where did ES open prior relative to prior day's range. It opened inside a prior day high. In the first 5-10 minutes, what is price doing? I would say that price crossed back through the open multiple times. I think I did it twice, right? Yeah, it opened, sold off, went back above it. Tight action near the open, light volume, no move, big way. That's definitely not true. We have a lot of volume. Strong directional move with no return to open. Well, we pushed down and then went higher. So I would say open auction. The open auction says to wait for the IB print, which is again in about 23 minutes for the IB to form. We'll keep it on that note for now. We'll wait for the IB to form. Oh, damn it, I closed my journal. Articles. There it is. Let's see, where is the morning prep? The morning prep here. It says open auction. I classified it already as, oh, I have a scanner that tries to determine the open. And the scanner says it's a open auction as well. So, well, I also as we did through the workflow here, came up with open auction. So I agree. I'll apply this. The open auction calls for failed breakouts of the IB. So if that's the case, I might wait for that to break for a breakout. I bookmarked it. Is IB initial balance? Yeah, it's the first hour of trade. First hour. So it's from my time Pacific or New York time, 9:30 to 10:30. So it says here open auctions are balanced. The VWAP is mean reversion target. It says reduce targets 30 to 40% because we'll probably balance out. Open price crosses 2+ times in the first 30 minutes. It technically did open and then sold off and then went higher. It says no bar sustains from 8 to 10 points from the open. I mean, it kind of went both ways only because of the volatility. We're pretty high vol, so I would say it's a little more than that. Volume balanced and below average on probes. Yeah, at the extremes, it's pretty average. On the high end, at least. No entries, so mixed. So the evidence takeaway is failed breakdowns and failed breakouts. There's a higher hit rate on the failed breakout right here of the IB high. So that might be a secondary trade I might look for. A failed breakout of the IB high once it breaks. Capture what happened after the open. Different axis, open type. Together they describe the full day. So we'll do this after. Drive faded, failed extension, reverse, broke IB. So we'll do that. We'll fill in that part of the journal after. But for now, it says open auction. So we're reversing here back into a little box, see if they trade here. Where's my journal at? There it is. Here we are, 305. See what they do at the VWAP. This is the area I want to keep kind of be at. Let's see. 305. They tested VWAP. Yeah. I'll buy a couple lots for now. The heck? Oh, I think I know why. Fucking shit. This is why. Because I'm already up 500 from last night. Okay. Okay, so I'm holding, only took 2 here, and I'll add more as this kind of gives conviction over. They're adding more volume here. This is failing already. That's fast. Might have to wait for the IB low to put in a failed breakdown, because this is just getting a little... See if they probe and hold below it. They're holding below it right now. VWAP's at 2 or 300. So if they don't work our way out of it, I'll just flatten out. But if they break out, break free, and this is just a failed breakdown of the probe of VWAP, I will add more. And go from there. They're holding now. I want to see a strong push away from this area. I'm not really convinced just because they're bouncing out of it. I'm more convinced to sell this, meaning to close it than I am to... Oops. I'm more convinced to close this trade than I am to add to it. Yeah, they're failing again. That's some clown ass shit, huh? Oh man. $301 is VWAP. Okay. 301. They're right at the area. I'll bid here if it does hold. Not holding. Yeah, they keep hitting 301 and just rejecting. I likely will get stopped out on this. I only took it small size. I want to add more to it because I need more confirmation before adding more, but overall, like every probe into VWAP is getting rejected. Given the volatility today, I'm giving it a little bit of wiggle room because it's going to trap. Like it's going to eventually break free. If it does, it's going to do it on a strong impulse. If it's going to reverse. These kind of days are tricky because just because it holds underneath a level doesn't mean it fails. They usually fuck around and push it out of the way. Here's 302 again. Days like today are kind of frustrating because the volatility is so high that they dick around with the action around a key area. They'll fuck around, pretend like they're gonna break down, and then they'll break free and reverse and squeeze out. And that's the kind of shit that happens with the VIX being so high right now. The VIX is at what? I don't even know what it is right now. I'm sure it's over 18 though. They're still getting capped, or all the action's happening right at VWAP. So whatever they resolve from here will either trade over the IBL or trade the overnight high. Pretty much. You just wait for the true break and then add to the trade, or you can just be positioned before, which is not the best idea to be positioned before it. Yeah, they rejected it. Oh. Yeah, here comes my stop. It's definitely an open auction given that just how loose the VWAP is. It's more of a if it ends up being like this, this might be a large range between these two areas. And the VWAP's just going to be the midpoint of the session. So it's going to be the middle of the session, essentially the 300. And we're just going to likely probe here like this most of the day. With the current auction we're having, that's likely what's going to happen here. Where's the IBL? It still hasn't fully set yet until 12 minutes. Yeah, I'm officially going to take the L here. I mean, they're holding a below VWAP. They're rejecting multiple times, even from below. What looked like a strong auction at the open just now looks like it just died. I'm not sure what changed between the morning's strong open and then kind of, what is it? Not even that much into the open, not even an hour into the open, everything just flipped. Oh, man. Well, what a fucking day, huh? I guess is the shit you can expect with the VIX this high, and then we're in a short delta regime, and they're just going to amplify moves in both directions, up and down. This is an amplified move down from that short regime. See here. They're back above. Oh my. That was a fucking book out of what the hell happened? They just gave up breaking down and then reclaimed VWAP. See what I mean? Like they're gonna make it very trappy. Today's definitely an open auction given the move we just had. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to scale here at 315 if they give it to me because I am not gonna be waiting for 320s. Just in case they dick around here. There you go. I have 2 lots now, and we'll target the IB high. So the IB is not set yet, so we'll see what happens. I would like to see a failed breakout of the IB. So the reason it trailed me out earlier, I have some settings to close my position if it goes over 500, or to trail it. Let's just say auto trail it. And then earlier when I was trying to take a trade, it was on, so that this one's already at 500, which is the one I'm currently in a trade on. So that's why it stopped me out on the initial 2 lots that I opened, because it was trailing that PNL. I took it off for now just so I can so you can see right here that I bought 2 lots and then it closed them out right away. So then I bought more here. Anyway, that's why I trailed me out earlier, because that auto trail from Sierra. Then I turned it off just so I can take the trade, because if I put it back on, it'll close it out. Because I took a long last night. Anyway, I was long last night, that's why. And I was up 500. I had to close that and then end it. Anyway, we're back. I mean, the account's back to where we were before that mess. 700 down below that peak loss on Monday, I think it was. So we made we made back 70% of the money. How much chatter today? Is anyone here? Let's see. Oh, there are people here. Hi, people. I didn't seem like anyone's here today. It's an intense market today, man. It's very volatile. What's the VIX at? Let me see if I have it up here. I have my chart open. 21, 22. What's up, brother? I know you're here. Hey, I appreciate you being here, man. You come in every day so far. I mean, you must really be okay with I'm just playing video games today. You know what? I should be doing some shit like that. Cause this is like something should passively be doing right now. I'm balls deep in coffee over stimulated watching the chart. I wish that coffee did that to me. I don't think it doesn't do that to me anymore. Here's a little story. You guys want to hear a story about coffee? Seems like it's a casual drug that everyone just consumes, but I have a pretty funny story about coffee. I guess I don't know if it's funny. Maybe it's funny to me, but but I tried. I had 2 hours to sleep. Oh shit. No, okay. Man, how are you doing? Are you okay? That's rough, man. I'm sorry. So I think what the hell was I didn't drink coffee until I was like 21. I'm used to it. Oh, I mean with your kids, I bet, man. I guess, yeah, that's true. I didn't drink coffee for the first time until I was 21. And I didn't get the hype about it. A lot of people drink it, consumed it, always offered it. I was always like, nah, I'm good. I don't want any. And the first time I had it, I think I had like an iced coffee, like a Vietnamese coffee place. And wow, they're gonna stop me out. I took a sip and it was gross. And then like I drank it all. I ended up just chugging it. It makes my vein feel not right. I drank up all of it. I didn't get the appeal because I drank it. It was disgusting my first time. I don't understand the appeal. And then like I want to say maybe like 10 minutes later, I felt high. Like I felt euphoric from the coffee. And once I felt that, I was like, wow, is this what coffee does to people? I can see why they drink it. I wasn't like jittery. I was like euphoric. Like I felt like my vision was a little impaired. That's how much that coffee really did damage. I have never felt the coffee like that again, unfortunately. But I was like in a state of bliss and euphoria, but like, and then slight buzz of energy. Yeah, like blood heart pumping in my brain. So it was pretty nuts, honestly. And from there, I started drinking coffee more frequently, but not every day. But I never got that high again. So that was a little disappointing. So that's my story. I was pretty much just tried it, and I just felt this euphoric feeling. I feel like I was scammed. I feel like coffee scammed me because it's never been able to do the same again. Two-hour candle. I don't need this alert anymore. That's what, like, when I used to take Molly at festivals younger days. Oh, man. Yeah. So you went to Ray? Oh, okay. Cool, man. Right now I'm gonna assume we're in a open auction. Seems like we're still within the we are definitely well within the priority high and low. Price keeps crossing by through the open multiple times. The open's at 308 and we just keep crossing up and down, up and down. So it says here no entries before the IB, so the IB is now formed. The thing is the real entry isn't until we break the IB for a failed break of the IB, either up or down. So failed breakdown of the IB or failed breakout of the IB is what it says here for the scan. The scanner says the best thing to do is to, it says here, the best one seems to be the backtest slice. So essentially this backtested historical data for the last 6 years. The highest hit rate has the failed breakout of the IB. So essentially breaking the overnight high and the IB high and then shorting on a breakdown or failed breakout of that and targeting the VWAP as the mean reversion target. As here, the open auction balanced VWAP is the mean reversion target. So we'll see how that plays out there. So we'll see if that plays out. Overall, I mean, I might just find this out where it's at and wait for the IB to fully break. Because they're just trading in and around VWAP. It's a mean reversion area. There's a lot of volume transacting in and around it, but no one is getting meaningful up or downside move. Overall, I mean, below 340s is where bears kind of remain in control firmly. And then the value area low seems to be where bulls want to hold at the 285 area. Currently, with the current week value area low. Look at that. You can see VWAP is just a magnet right now for price. SpaceX IPO hype is massive, and that FOMO can ruin your retirement. What a bunch of dramatic ass fucking headlines about SpaceX. I've seen so much drama around that IPO, it's insane. I don't know what the deal is. I think it's just like attention farming around the whole thing. Who can say the most dramatic thing about SpaceX? Because I just see a bunch of ridiculousness around it. Build the lives. Now we're back to 3. Look at that. Would you look at that? Build a standalone. Back higher again. I'm gonna scale a lot here again at the value high and just get down to one lot, to be honest. I'm just down to one lot now. Okay. You only have one lot now. One lot, and that's it. Super messy day. Majority of XL ETFs are in green today. No way. Most probably longs will be rewarded today. Most of the indexes, huh? Let's see. What indexes? Actually, let's look at something fun too. I'm glad you brought that up, man. That's a good point. If they are green, I mean, you get some bullish rotation. Definitely is favorable. I have a cool, I mean, I don't know if it's cool, but I guess you guys can decide. A sector heat map. Let's actually look at it. I haven't opened it this week. So let's look at what's hot this week. Not much. Just real estate. What the fuck? I was hoping for more green. This is definitely not it. So week over week is just financials are barely holding on. Healthcare up one, real estate. So rotation into some of the laggards of the entire year. Because if we look at year to date, the laggards have been financials, healthcare, and real estate. Where's real estate at? Oh, actually, real estate's been green. Wow, 12%. Interesting. Month over month, cybersecurity, quantum, healthcare. Okay, this is from. So yeah, I don't have a daily one. Maybe I should create one for the day and see what sectors are green on the day. I don't know why it feels so much later than it is today, but thanks, Mr. Patel, for commenting on that. That's a good reference to always look at the internals, like what are the sectors doing, right? What's green, what's red. There's some sectors that are more heavily weighted than others, but having an understanding of that kind of gives you a better picture of the overall regime under the hood. Because the thing we have to understand too is remember that this index, the S&P specifically, so that's what we're trading, or I'm trading, it moves in with the underlying, what the sectors are doing. This is just a week over week. Everything got hit. Yikes. Okay, building it. Myers RD. Classifier, color palette. Walk the classifier, pick SV Wapel, tag one. Let me see. So let's see what this classifier does. Got another classifier here. What was today's open type? Open auction. Did the range break out during this? This is before. This is going to be after. Did the range break out during London, during the session? Yes, broke before 11. Yes, only after 11. No, chopped all day. VWAP, multiple breaks. This is just hypothetical for now. Let's see what it does. Chopped. All dramatic. Chopped. Never developed direction. Yeah. Skip break trades. They're traps. Only mean reversion setups. Clear extremes. Best regime to stand down entirely. 5+ VWAP crosses is the confirmation. Day range is less one of the average. Multiple failed breakouts, low volume. In edge log, select tone. Okay. Let's see. What was the other one? I'm just running through hypotheticals. I'm not doing anything right now. I have a runner in probably the worst area you can probably get filled at today, which is right at VWAP given the chop around the area. But I will hold the runner until we resolve what happens with IB. So either we break the IB and price expands, or we put in a failed breakout of the IB. I will hold a runner until one of those two things happen. So we'll see what happens, right? I'm just gonna be patient, holding a little runner. For now, I'm just gonna work on some other things that I have going on here. Like this classifier, I'm just gonna test it out. I just made it right now while we were talking. Well, I didn't make it, I prompted Claude to make it while we were talking. Because I essentially have a journal, a trade journal that classifies everything for me based on historical data, things I look for. Structural bias is short for the day, given that we're below the flip and we're short delta environment. So let's see. So it'll classify the open based on a scan. So I have a scanner 2 that runs in the background, and at 7:30, 6:30 open, it tries to classify it near the open, and then it does another run at 7:30, and I go get a Discord notification from the scanner that it confirms the open type. So the open type, like I said earlier, it was probably the open auction. The scanner has another, I have a scanner that does it for me to do its own classification of the open based on data. And then I do my own manually just to see if they align or not. Just kind of, you know, testing it out, my own interpretation of the open. But at 7:30, it runs the final scan, tells me the open auction, and once the IB sets, it's certainly an open auction. But then there's the framework around it. So how do you trade when you have an open auction is the question, right? So then the scanner or my journal will tell me more or less like where the target is, VWAP, reduce targets. It kind of tells me how to identify that's an open auction, what to do, what setups are more likely to occur, a failed breakdown, I'm assuming, of the IBL, and then a failed breakout of the IB high, which is seems like where we might head into. And the hit rate is higher on a failed breakout of the IB high, statistically, over the 6 years. And then the next classifier I have to do is I have to update this session tone after we've broken the IB. So did we chop? Did we gap fill, meaning lower because we gapped up? Did we gap extend? Did we drive continue? Did we drive fade? Did we break late day? And these things I will fill in. This is just for me to collect data over time to kind of backtest the price action of the S&P. But anyway, we're doing this one right now, this classifier, and I'm just testing it out. Today was an open. See what it does if I do this. After the open, did price stay on its drive? No, VWAP was reclaimed from the wrong side. When and how did the reversal happen? This is going to be kind of similar to yesterday. At near major level. There you go. Failed extensions. This is similar to what happened yesterday. This classifier would have said drive hit a structural level and reversed hard. Cut drive side runners of the rejection. Flip trade set up opposite direction. Highest conviction. Counter trend rule. Stops above failed rejection high. In this case, yesterday's would have been right there at the failed breakout. The confirmation signal is we tagged the overnight high yesterday right here. Right. Sharp rejection wick. There, right there. Volume spike. There was a volume spike. And then reclaim of the VWAP below. I think we broke below VWAP at 360 at the time. Close the opposite of the drive half, and then there we go, failed extension. So this one, it helps me kind of classify if we have an open type that's very strong to the upside like yesterday, and then it fails a little bit after the a little bit into or after the IB is settled, then this helps classify the rest of the session and target to help me flip bias. Yesterday I remained bullish bias and it was not a good idea. So helps me filter through the framework or the structure of the day and helps me not remain so fixed on the outlook of the open and try to be more malleable with the trend. So I kind of wanted to create this for this second classifier after 10 a.m. Eastern, so I can be more malleable. So right now I'm just testing it just to kind of see how things play out. You know, broke late, and just kind of see if it works. I may need to update some things. So I'm not going to post this one yet. I do have this one available as part of the open classifier. It's pinned. And then I will add this one later once I've messed with it a little bit. These are all the references. So let's add this one to my journal. My trade journal. Like my internet kind of went out and came back. Weird. But yeah, that's kind of like what I've been working on. The classifiers, journal. Yada yada. Let me see here. Start poll. Do you journal your trades? There's one wrong answer here. Well, actually two, but still. It's my... I prefer having track record. What do you mean by a track record? Isn't that this? Well, I mean, how are they different? I guess is what I should ask. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. What a I mean, the amount of emotion today around VWAP is nuts. Bum bum bum. We got yes, 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 no, that's lame. I was hoping someone was gonna pick that one. That's lame. I don't like comment on my trade if the trade's justified and is the right decision that I should make in that moment. I would say I agree, but that's also assuming that you always make the right decision, right? Like we don't always make the right decision with the information we have in front of us. I mean, unless you're like perfect, then I guess. Like that's the element that journaling helps bring awareness to the decisions we make in the moment. We may have all the right information in front of us. We also may make the wrong decision. Unless you're always making the right decision, which to me sounds impossible. If the equity curve is, it's not really about, well, all right, I'll leave it at that. No, that sounds fair. No problem. About to get trailed out here on the runner. The game is a super emotional game. I agree. It is. Sure is. Here it comes. They're inching into the IBL. See if they actually probe it or not. Oh, oh, here it comes. Ah, ah. One tick away. They like filled a few lots, but they didn't take me out. Here it comes. Ah, they took me out. All right, I got trailed out. Still green trade. Small green trade, but green trade. Broke the IB. Are they gonna do the thing with the failed that break IB? I don't know. What do we got? Yes, it's 33%. Everything's split. 33 around all of them. What the fuck? That's funny. Man. Okay. All right, let's see if they can reclaim the IB after breaking it. I don't really trust the IB. Reclaim, we'll see if it does it though. See if they do it. I'll probably ease into this trade just slightly. I want to see it test this area. I did the 70s and then reclaim the value low for the week for a failed breakdown of the IB, which would be what, like 80, the reclaim of 85 or so. Overall, its bears still continue to push below the IB. They didn't break the overnight high, which I am surprised by, to be honest. I got another vote. No, okay. I think the edge is the most important. So the point of the journal, I don't think, is to find out whether you have an edge or not, but more or less reflect on your current trading performance and see how you've been doing. Because although you have an edge, the human element of it is that over time, even though you have an edge, you don't always execute it as you should, right? Or wrong. Right? Sometimes we're executing at the wrong areas or executing too big, too tight, whatever it may be. For me, I think the edge, the reason I bring up the journal is not whether you have an edge or not, but rather how are you executing that edge over time? The journal is kind of like a reflection point. You got the IB extension. Actually broke it down. Very good. What do you think about the edge of traders like us? What do you think? What do you think about edge of traders like us? I mean, in general, I think in general, like, you can find an edge. There's many ways to classify and find one. I don't think that's ever the problem. The problem is, when is that edge most appropriate? Because not all, so for example, like some people may be scalping when the VIX is sub 18, right? And scalping is a different game. Scalping when VIX is below 18, 16. And then again, it changes when the VIX moves over to 20, 22 and over. So if you don't journal, you wouldn't realize that adjustment period right away, right? So I think that edge is, anybody can find an edge in the market. It could be very simple or it could be very sophisticated. It doesn't matter. I think most people can find one. But the question is, can you adapt during those changes in regimes? Can you identify the changes in regimes? And the only reason I really push the journal is because if you sit there and reflect and actually review your trades, review the regime, review everything, the backdrop, the session, you can identify those changes and shifts, and you can quickly make adjustments if needed to that edge, to that shift in regime. I hope that makes sense. We'll buy one lot here for now. We will add more. A little bit of reclaim. Want to hear this from other traders? Oh yeah, I mean, we'll see if they respond at all. Most people don't chat anything on the YouTube stream, honestly. They're kind of mute. I don't know why. So I would have low expectations for further commentary on this. I don't think many people will say anything. Most people just lurk. They don't really say anything. I'll add more here as we reclaim. I'm not gonna lose. Murder, 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 murder. But I mean, I think the votes would agree with you. Look at that. Looks like do you journal your trades? Most traders responded with no. Which is baffling to me, because like you have big prop firms like S&B Capital who preach journaling like rigorously, like religiously. Oh, numerous. I can agree with that as well. They do change, yeah. But like my main basis is like you literally have professional prop firm traders from S&B Capital and other firms, who religiously preach this the journaling aspect of trading. Yeah. So that retest was more of a rejection, a little bit of an early entry. We'll see. I need to see a hold above like 80, 83, 85. That area is really going to be a key. That's where I'll add more size. I just added one as a tester. And then I will add more if it does reclaim. If not, just let it stop me out on the rest. I think journaling is always good. I mean, even as a human being, it's generally good. Definitely. You know, put in your incoherent thoughts into something written. Kind of filter out what you're thinking or going through. Just my preference to have self-reflection after every decision. After every decision, yeah. Mama. So strong-handed sellers there at 70s. They don't want it to go higher. Look at that, another one, another skip right there at 78. Someone's pushing the tape there. If he doesn't get his way, I would assume he gets squeezed out back into VWAP immediately. How about another lot on that? It's a bad assumption to think he breaks him, but we'll add one more. There's someone there selling aggressively. And he's not getting rewarded, so they might squeeze. There it is, another one. They're squeezing. I had 3 lots. That's as big as I'll keep it. I'll keep it small size, just given the overall action. Yeah, man. Happy holidays. Wish you were here. I am enough discipline to do it. My man, the amount of confidence it blowing through your veins is good. It's good. Nice, man. I think the edge of retail traders is small size and market impact. I think it hardly erodes. Let's see. I think just most successful traders journal their trades, especially if it's a mechanical strategy. Well, thanks, Stilaso. That's a good input. There you go. Yeah, someone that commented on it. Is small and hardly erodes. You can say that. So like, here's the thing. I think that there are certain styles of trading that will always be there. Trend continuation being one. Damn, 1,000 lot. That was a big lot order there. Oh my. Oh my. You guys see that one? That might have been that seller at 78, maybe capitulating. I don't know. That's just an assumption. I can't really know. Because there was someone at 78 hitting the tape pretty hard. What was I saying? That there's certain styles of trading that will always exist. And that's like trend continuation, momentum trading, things like that. Those never erode. It's just a matter of, is this the regime for that kind of trading? Is this the right environment for that sort of trading? Right? Those kind of trading styles will always be there. Because markets will always move in certain ways. And I think continuation trading of the trend, the general trend after an impulse move is definitely one. And then the other one being momentum trading, which we had a lot of the last 2 months. It's just a matter of like, is this the right environment? For these kinds of regimes, I agree. Options trading can kind of peel back the veil and tell you that, yeah. Market makers have to price those in. That's like hard evidence of what is happening. Like getting like a feel for a view of what's going on under the hood. Yeah, that's right. So the levels are prior weekly value or low. So let me clarify. So the value or low on this chart right here, this one, the one on top has the weekly ones, the weekly value areas. This one has the prior day. Or in terms of value, everything else, yes, that you asked. Cognitive conditioning. I don't disagree with that frame of thinking. Like, it does make sense. I guess maybe there's certain styles, because you scalp mainly, right? Intraday, quick trades, maybe in some sort of momentum fashion. There's certain styles of trading that maybe it makes more sense to do that are a little slower. They're a little more confirmation oriented. I think you run over, you might trade off of like 1 or 2 confirmations with value and momentum and some, I don't know what else. But I don't disagree, you know, it just depends on the trading style. Main reason is still being lazy. You know, I am too. Like, don't get me wrong. I am lazy too. And I tried to get it. I created a journal that eliminates the lazy aspect of it, of documenting the trade and whatnot. I tried to eliminate the friction. The workload will be heavy. Exactly, because it's a lot of trades to journal. So I completely understand why you make that argument. It's very valid. The thing I will say is, I tried to eliminate that sort of friction because I too am lazy when it comes to journaling. It's one of those like very heavy things that you just don't want to do ever because of the time commitment. There is a rate of return on it, but it's like the time commitment is so heavy and hard. I just scaled 2 lots there. I only have 1. But let me actually give me a sec. Give me a sec. Let me actually just post this. I have to share this. So I made my journal to in a way where it does the majority of the work up front, and I have to just manually review, classify the trade, and everything else is kind of done for me. The MFE tracking, the trade itself gets classified. It knows that if I take a trade near the IB low, that it's likely a failed breakdown of the IB, like right now. It knows that if I take a trade near an overnight low, it knows that it's probably a failed breakdown of the overnight low. It knows all the variables of all the potential trades that I can take based on the RTH open, based on my playbook, everything that I've given it. So my journal is very tailored to me and my way of trading. So my journaling becomes a little easier to do because of all the specifics that I gave it about my sort of trading. So it eliminates a lot of the friction of journaling. So all I have to do is just go in and kind of review the trade, make notes on what I could have done differently. And a lot of the notes that I've realized recently, as of recently with this volatility regime change, is just scaling into trades is probably my best opportunity in this current environment. Is that sometimes I'm not generally wrong on the trade, but scaling into the trade is probably the best thing to do with this volatility being so wide in this current regime, which is why I scaled into this one slowly. You can see I had 3 lots earlier. I scaled into it too, slowly into the trade, and I scaled out thereafter. So with those adjustments, you know, those are the things I kind of work on doing and seeing how that works. Does it work? Does it not? Does it improve my P&L curve, my MFE? You know, the favorable move in my direction, does it improve the cost basis, all those things? And I will review at the end of the day and the week and then see if that is true. If it does not, then, you know, we eliminate that. It was a good conversation, man. This is fun, right? I mean, we could talk about other stuff like coffee but that was a good conversation. I appreciate the going back and forth on it. Where do you get your gamma levels? It's not free. I pay for the data, and then I have a Python script that pulls that data and creates these levels. So it's not free, but I do share them for free. So if you want them, they're on X or here. I share them for free. So whatever I pay, I don't charge anybody. I just give them out. Today, they're kind of useless, to be honest. Like, look at where they're at. They're in a weird spot. So I don't know why that is. I've never seen it be above price. So usually within price. It's always interesting. Yeah, it is. It gives you I mean, look, you're giving me good feedback on like the journaling side of like someone who scalps and stuff and how it's like a friction thing. And it makes total sense, right? It's like this trading thing is not a one size fits all. There's so many interpretations of trading and ways to trade where I can kind of see a different angle for things. But yeah, good question on the gamma levels. Let me put my, if you want the gamma levels, I'll put this here. In reality, there are a few chances. Yeah, to interact with other traders, it's very uncommon. Yeah, very uncommon if that's what you're saying. So we hit VWAP and then they continue with the selling pressure right at VWAP. I'm likely just going to target this area and just close it at point of control on the rest of the trade. It seems like the open... Okay, so let me go back to the same thing I was saying earlier. The way the trade is classified for the day... Where is my classifier? Here it is. So, so you can see we classified as an open auction, right? The scanner says to target the VWAP on mean reversion trades, which it hit VWAP. I did not take profit there. I should have taken the last contract as profit. Where is it at? Here it is. Let me just apply this. The scanner here, my journal says balanced open auction VWAP as mean reversion target. So I should be targeting VWAP. I should be targeting VWAP for my trades. I scaled a little bit before VWAP. I'm not that's pretty okay for me. I'm very happy with that. But the final target, I should have just left it at VWAP because that seems to have been a little bit of a high right there right now. There was an explosion in volume and then immediate retracement. So I definitely should stick to that. What the journal saying to do for this kind of regime. Would you ask AI to code a dynamic gamma level for you, like Gexbot does? I have the ability to do dynamic polls at set frequencies. I actually have one. I had one scheduled for the 0 DTE ones to be pulled every 30 minutes. And personally, I did not like the shifts were not valuable enough for me to... It was creating more noise for me. It wasn't really as valuable as I thought it would be. Getting them updated in those intervals. As liquidity did shift in the options chain, it did create a good feedback loop, but most times it was more noise than anything. So I can do it just for the sake of having one. I had one before, but so yeah, I mean, it does. Like, most times as the day goes on, the gamma levels will constrict and get tighter and tighter. Because of that, because of the theta decay and whatnot. In fact, the hedging purpose of futures is also declining over years. You know, I would say that, this is the funny thing. The asset, like futures itself, It's now trading like the S&P future is now at 7,000. But the margin requirement has not shifted with that change in appreciation of the equity, which is really weird because a 1% move now is not the same as a 1% move 5 years ago. So I'm a little baffled by the fact that they haven't changed the maintenance requirement and the margin requirement to trade futures, because the notional risk has increased. Because a 1% move, sure, 1 point is still 1 point on the S&P, right? Whether that's one ES lot, it's still 50 points per point, $50 per point. But a 1% move is way bigger now than it was 5 years ago. So I'm a little confused by the fact that they haven't increased the margin requirement or the maintenance on them. I think at some point they will, or they should, because the notional risk is just so high. Yeah, I think I'm wrapped up for now. I don't know. I think the IB failed breakdown was probably the best trade I could have found for the way I trade, for me. And it was part of the plan too. Like it said, the 7280 failed breakdown. Ironically, I had planned this out yesterday, but I didn't anticipate it would look like this. I didn't anticipate it would be a failed breakdown of the IB low. But I said, if during the open we managed to test the 272, 265 area and quickly reclaim the 280s, similar to the New York Open, probe below 360 and test yesterday's session, this would be a good long setup to test 305s. We tested 305 on that pop, by the way. So I had planned for this setup yesterday, but I did not anticipate it would be where the IB low was made. I just knew it was a failed breakdown area. I totally agree with you there. Yeah, ES does not even have a 100-point daily range back in the days. It did not. It was very small, relatively speaking. They should make a smaller value contract, trade smaller accounts, similar to what GC has done with the 1 ounce contract. Yeah, like they have some assets have like nano contracts too, like nano, which is even smaller than micro. So I'm surprised by that too. MES is not small account friendly anymore. Not necessarily anymore, given that notional risk and then again the volatility of the asset. Like if you calculate the average true range of any contract, assuming you top ticket and then it goes against you full ATR, like I think the daily risk is like 500 to 700, which is equivalent to the margin requirement to trade one contract. So it doesn't make any sense, because the average range is, I would say, like 50-60 points. It's about $200 to $300 if you were to buy the high and then it go low, not including any tail risk like news events. People with low margin now have to go to CFD. It's a scam to me. I'd never dug into CFDs, so I don't know much about them. That's why I've gone to options, because I was getting worked out positions, which was beginning to piss me off. Yeah, that's the difficulty of futures, is like you can have the right directional trade, but they wick a lot. The S&P, even the NASDAQ, it wicks a lot. It'll probe a lot of extremes and then continue its move in that direction, whatever direction that was. The amount of times I've had that happen to me is insane. But yeah, it's definitely some shit. So with options, yeah, I can see how you can get away with not having to worry about those wicks or those slippage and movements in whatever direction, those extremes they probe. Interactive broker, SPY CFD is good. It's perfectly aligned with SPY. Oh, no way. How to manage a short time trade with options through, especially dealing with delta side. A shorter dated trade is just going to be as problematic as a futures trade, I would say. You need some time on your in favor of a move. It's a little harder to scalp an option, I would say. I think you're better off scalping a futures contract than scalping an options contract. I think. The PD2 rule just changed. So you're not wrong, Mr. De La Soul. That just changed this, I think this maybe a few weeks ago. So why don't people go to stocks? That is a great alternative now that the PDT rule has shifted, and there are leveraged instruments to trade if you're not scalping. So you can trade leveraged instruments for the S&P. So like SPXL is a leveraged instrument, 3x bull ETF, or SPXU, right? And there's no PDT rule. And I think commissions are relatively low now. So and then even for individual stocks, I think Apple has APPU. I put too many A's. APU, the 2x daily mover of the Apple stock. So if you're trading stocks, you can with these highly leveraged ETFs they make almost any stock you can think of. You can do it. I have a friend that does it, but for the move he gets, he could make more on futures. It's a double-edged sword, right? Where like the payout is equivalent to the risk associated with that position. So yeah, like you can make more with the future if we're talking about stocks here individually, but you can also lose more with the future. It kind of goes both ways, right? Try using price ladder to trade big stocks like AMU with the exact protocol of trading futures. It is even better, but the transaction fee is high. What's the transaction fee for shares right now? I think that, yeah, I think overall, I think the margin, the commissions are going to be relatively lower on futures than they are in stocks. Structurally, we still have not been able to reclaim the failed breakdown area. So it's not looking very good for bulls. Imagine scalping that pointless, yeah, on my margin account for options. 2%. I get charged 2 to 3% commission? No way. That seems high, right? 2%, like percent of the position. I think here they have like a set fee per contract per side. It's a certain dollar cost. I think today's close will be very telling for tomorrow's session. If trading stocks like I do in futures, I have to directly contact the broker agent to get a better commission. Yeah, that makes sense. That is comfortable with. Yeah, because I mean the futures are just relatively cheaper commission wise most times. Some special broker account could be provided. There are some specialty brokers out there that do like lower margin, lower commissions. They're specifically only for options trading, like tasty trades. I don't know if that's available everywhere though. But there are some boutique options brokers out there that do offer lower commission rates. Oh, okay. No worries. Hey, man, you don't have to apologize when you ask. I appreciate you being kind and saying sorry, but you're welcome to ask any question. Don't feel bad for asking. There's no wrong questions here. But the FBD, so let me write it down. So failed breakdown. FBD means failed breakdown. Failed. And that's not because the failed breakdown happened. It's just a matter of that's what I'm waiting for. It's just a reference note for myself. And this is a failed breakout, FBO. This one I did not take yesterday, but I referenced it just to annotate what happened yesterday for my own notes. This is a failed breakdown. Essentially, if we can reclaim above 305, this little area, right? You can see clearly overnight it held pretty well, and then here today we've been chopping around it. If at any point in the future, whether today or tomorrow, we can somehow imbalance away and then use it as a support, I would definitely be open to taking it long based on that failed breakdown setup. And then the FBO as a failed breakout from yesterday. And we'll see how that reacts if we can to retest again. I don't think that may happen today unless there's some sort of catalyst that imbalances away from here, but yeah. I hope that answers the question. So far, the scanner, the journal, has been pretty on point in the scales. It's set to scale at VWAP as a reversion target, and that's all we've been doing is chopping around VWAP. So I'm glad I did that. I think there is a great chance in stock upcoming half years. In stock itself, like investing in stocks in the upcoming half years, I definitely agree. I mean, we're in the middle of, in the infancy of a new wave of innovation that's going to change the world in ways that we can't even understand right now. Like, it's an amazing time to be alive, let's just say. I can tell you firsthand, I've been able to create stuff that I have no business knowing how to do. I have no business knowing how to do any of the stuff that I've made with this computer because of AI. Whether that's a journal, gamma level Python scripts, automated postings, custom indicators, so many different things. Where do those failed breakout levels come from? Is it the so they can come from different areas. Structurally, they can come from a prior day low, prior day high, overnight low, a weekly high, weekly low, or a value or higher. I wouldn't say value or high, value or low on a weekly basis, but they happen on all time frames. Just a matter of like which structurally is going to be the Each one from a higher time frame perspective will provide a higher profit opportunity or R multiple. So if the failed breakout happens at a prior day high, which is the one that happened there on the chart, it resulted in a pretty massive move in the opposite direction. If it happens at a daily value low, like the one here, then the failed breakdown will be relatively smaller in comparison. It's just the failed breakouts and failed breakdowns can happen pretty much at any structural level. Prior value low, IB low, overnight high, overnight low, prior day high, prior day low, weekly value high, weekly value low. What you have to just understand is that not all those areas will net the same rate of return. Depending on what time frame they occur will depend the profit factor, expectancy of that failed breakout or breakdown. So that's why I have so many levels annotated, because those failed moves can happen in any of these reference areas that I look at. So today the failed breakdown happened at the IB low, the initial balance low. Right? It's a small time frame. You're not even going to see it on the chart up here because this is more of a higher time frame, so it's in a small time frame. And it's highlighted blue on my chart. Now I get no problem. The IPO big finance like Google will get about 300 billion. The money is most likely come from that's other. The money is most likely come from other small capital stock, which drives an artificial rebalance in market. You mean like liquidity leaving stocks and entering SpaceX IPO? That's likely what might have kind of accelerated the sell-off we had this last week, because the IPO is supposed to happen this week or next week. Right? Yeah, portfolio shifting could be happening, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of, honestly, my broker emails me 5 times a day in a way. Yeah, a big one. That's annoying. The yeah, that could be because you think about like anyone who's allocated in say like SNDK, AMD, a lot of the high flyers that are up on the year, they may be dumping them, and that's probably what we saw. Locking in some of those gains from this year's big movers, and they're going to be allocating into those areas, into that IPO. So like we have semiconductors in general at 58%, and I'm sure within the last week seeing a lot of that rebalancing coming out of chips. Where is the performance on chips here? 5%. Cybersecurity probably another one. Big tech for sure they're going to rebalance out of. Cloud names probably too, because they were getting a bounce. I think they were starting to go green on the cloud names. So, you know, I think there's definitely a lot of money shifting out of certain sectors. Now the cleaner working in SpaceX is richer than me. Do they get stock too? I wonder if they get stock compensation, because if they do, that's pretty crazy. They might break the overnight high at some point today. What do you think of the SpaceX stock, Rick? Is it in your radar? I want to own it. Yeah, I have a small allocation. I'll allocate like 1% to the stock. I'll ease into it, but a 1% allocation is what I'm comfortable with. If it goes 50% down, I give 2 shits. If it goes up 10x or whatever, and some crazy retarded move, I doubt that happens, but that's fine too. You know, for me, it's like I want exposure to the sector in general, space. I think that they definitely are convoluted. Like constructing like this company is like going to be intertwined with a lot of the big tech, so they're going to support it, right? They're going to want to keep it afloat, and the moat they have is pretty high. There's not much competition in that specific space that they're in, specifically with the services they provide as of yet. So that kind of insulates it a little bit, but we'll see what happens down the road. Highly doubt they get shares, but big props to Elon if he does. Yeah, definitely. So like, I think I'm comfortable with a certain percentage allocation regardless of whatever it does. They do get options? That's crazy. Which is really neat. A lot of people saying, I would never touch SpaceX. It's overvalued. I would never purchase it with a 10-foot pole. Probably the same people that said they wouldn't buy Tesla. You know, or say they wouldn't buy Amazon back in 2000, whatever, or Apple or Microsoft in 2000s. Like, it's the same retards that say the same things. It's just like, you don't have to own it. You don't, I mean, if you do own it, just allocate accordingly, you know, allocate small percent. It doesn't have to be like this whole like 5% allocation risk to the portfolio. But again, I think it's just like attention farming. People just say extreme shit just to get people to agree or disagree. Because I remember in 2016, 17, like so many people were saying that about Netflix. So much negativity around the stock for years. And all it did was disrupt cable and fuck anybody who tried shorting it. So I mean, it's just and there was the same concerns in that period of time. So they can kill the hype, which is weird. I think I have some concerns about holding the SpaceX. The average first day return is 23, but the average 3-year buy and hold is only 7.6. I think if you're looking at it from like a time-based return, yeah, you're not going to appreciate. You're not going to get much. I don't expect a lot of appreciation from the SpaceX IPO for at least the first 5 years. So easing into it at some point will make sense. Because the run rate, I don't think the IPO will have much. Most IPOs don't really appreciate too much until a few years after. They take a while, and most times they actually sell off after the initial hype wears off. Doom, 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 doom. Let's play the blame game now. Does anyone use AI? Like, do you guys use it? Like, you guys use it for like anything? Not just chats, but like, I don't know, to help you with work or stuff like that? Work, research, I don't know, reviewing data, things like that. I use it for my study. That's amazing. I'm glad. My wife does too for her schooling as well. I'm enjoying these streams. Hey, thanks FH. I love this guy, man. I love FH. He's been around for some time supporting Rick. And let's see. This is a good chat and good network with other I appreciate, honestly, it makes trading less lonely, even if it's just one or two guys talking. You know, it doesn't have to be a group. It does make it more enjoyable to trade. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks, Mr. FH. If you guys also, let me see, is give me a sec. Where is my stuff at? 100%. Yeah, Rick is awesome. You guys are awesome. No, Rick is okay. Rick is okay. But you guys are awesome, you know. I'll continue showing up. You know, this kills time. I mean, honestly, it's way better trading like this than in a room here in this office alone, bored as fuck. Just like, I feel like if I had a camera and you guys would see what I'm doing when there's no lights and camera on, it could be fucking weird. I do the most random things. Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't make any sense, let's just say. Talk to myself, seeing more out loud. Appreciate market thoughts. Yeah, man. Thanks. Agree. I'm here often and listening. All right, Pete, let's go. Well, look at that. I appreciate you guys, man. If you guys just come in and listen. And for tuning in consistently. I hope that it makes it entertaining, or maybe gives some insight. I don't know if that any of my commentary helps or what have you, but if there's ever any questions, you feel free to ask. I try to give as much info as I can, and yes, Rick listening and learning, cool. I try to give as much info as I can as things are kind of happening. I don't know everything or anything for that matter. I know very little. I just know enough to get by. Let's play. So far, I mean, again, I'm going to keep reiterating the scanner has been on point. It's the classification for the session said open auction right at 7:30 a.m. Confirmed open auction, that's OA at 7:30. It says no entries before. Had I just waited for the IB to enter this trade, I mean, yes, it was a net green trade, but it was a stressful green trade. The trade here, this trade was more stressful than the one here. This one felt more comfortable in conviction in than the first one I took. So the open auction filter, had I just respected it, I likely would have been able to take on more risk for the day. I was a little more cautious because I was already green, didn't want to give back any gains. I think I would have been more comfortable taking on half risk for the daily limit that I have and just allocating this trade a little bigger in sizing and making the same PNL. So the open auction filter certainly did give a lot of good context today to wait for the IB to settle and trade a failed breakdown, which is, again, one of the things the journal said to do. I gave it the open auction. It said to trade a failed breakdown of the IB, which is right here. Failed breakdown, BD. I'm sorry. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. C plus IBL failed breakdown. And it said the failed breakout was a secondary trigger. And then it said balanced, the target is mean reversion, which is VWAP, target VWAP. Which is where we target, I kind of targeted, I got fill a little bit below that. Not the best fill. So I think we'll take the journal with a win today, and certainly be glad I had it to reference this morning. What's that song? You know, that song always gives me chills. Let's see if you guys ever heard it. I always listen to it. If I can find it right now in my library. Every time I sing it, I just get chills and I just want to Pretend like I know how to play the drums. Where is that song at? Oh, it's called Dream On by Aerosmith. You guys ever heard it? The secret BGM alpha wave for sleeping makes me sleep hour well before I enter it. Alpha wave for sleeping. You know, it'd be interesting, like you saying that, like if you have those aura rings and then like you sleep with the alpha wave playing, and then you sleep without it. Like, what would your sleep quality look like? Like the data difference between the two. Like you can quantify that if you played it and then you have one of those rings that track your sleep quality. It'd be interesting to see like the improvement of that. Like what's the return on that playing in the background while you sleep. All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce. I think that was the trade for now for the day, was the IBL failed breakdown. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna head out. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Thanks to you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yeah, Paige. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here.